Welcome to the Girl Power Alliance podcast, where you're going to meet and hear from some inspiring women with incredible stories who are leading in business and in faith. We are on a mission to impact the world by empowering women to dream bigger through kingdom-minded mentoring and leadership. This is where women grow. Well, hello. Hi there. Welcome to the very first ever episode of the Girl Power Alliance podcast. My name is Michelle Schaffer. I am the founder of the Girl Power Alliance, and I'm going to be hosting this very first podcast to kind of cast a vision for you. I'm excited to share the story with you of how this amazing movement has begun. I guess I should start back a little bit in the past. I have been an entrepreneur basically my whole life, my whole adult career, and I started off in the beauty business. I worked behind the chair and I was a makeup artist and a stylist for a number of years. Let me go back even further before I began that career. I'm a mother. I have 3 children. I became a mom at the age of 16, and I had my oldest daughter, who is, my goodness, almost going to be 30 years old. I can't believe it. And I have a son who was born when I was 19, and he is going to be 27 years old. I was married and divorced by the time that I was 21 years old. And I put myself through school to become a stylist and worked full time. So I had a lot of grit. I know what it means to work hard. And through it all, my faith has really helped to get me through. I'm going to go forward now. I met my husband on a blind date. Matter of fact, we just celebrated our 18-year wedding anniversary. He and I together had my third, his first. And so our baby is a senior in high school. Kind of a weird time to be a senior in high school this year with all the crazy quarantines and shutdowns going on. I left that profession, the profession of standing behind the chair in the beauty business, around 15 years ago. I just felt like God was calling me to something different, something more. And I desperately wanted to be home with my family, with my kids. However, I needed the income. We needed the income as a family. So I got involved in the network marketing profession, fell in love with that profession. I love that I could impact other people's lives while I was also making my own life better. And I loved that I could do that all from home. And my husband and I worked side by side in that profession for it's actually been over 15 years. We even started our own company in 2010. And that lasted 2.5 years. That's another story. I'm not going to share that with you on this podcast anyway. I'm sure you'll hear it at some point. And so we've been very successful. We're multiple 7-figure earners in the profession. I have mentored and trained thousands of women. I've just loved the profession. I've loved working with people, loved helping people to reach new levels of their potential. And one thing that always I don't know if you've heard this before, or you were taught this, but in business, I've always been taught that there are 2 things that you never talk about. You never talk about politics or religion. Have you heard that? Is that something that you were taught too? It's something that I always had been basically told, you want to attract everybody in your business, so you don't talk about those things, especially not when it comes to your business and mixed company of your customers and your clients, because you're going to tick some people off. And so that's kind of the rule that I always followed in business, was not to mess around with those 2 subjects. However, right around, it probably was before that, but around the beginning of 2017, I really felt the nudge. Have you ever felt that? This nudge from God, like pushing on me, like, okay, I'm going to ask something of you. If you could speak about the things that you're passionate about your faith in me, about your business, about all the things that you talk about, and you could do it without worrying about offending people, right? Without trying to be so inclusive. Not to say that I'm not, but it seems like those conversations don't seem inclusive all the time. What would it sound like? What would it sound like if there was no filter for you? And so in the year 2017, I started a podcast. It's called The Sold Out Entrepreneur. And I did not start it for marketing. I did not start it for branding. I started it only to listen to the call that I believed that God was putting on my heart to share all the things that I like to share. So I like to talk and do it in an unfiltered way. What would that sound like? And so here we are. It is April of 2020, almost exactly 3 years ago did I start that other podcast, The Sold Out Entrepreneur. And here I am starting the Girl Power Alliance podcast. So I believe now that God laid that Sold Out Entrepreneur podcast on my heart as foundational steps for what is happening now. I've got very used to speaking about my faith and Christ and Jesus and verses and everything because I did it every single week in this podcast, sometimes 2 times a week, because sometimes I would do 2 podcasts a week. And so it really kind of helped me to make a shift, being more bold in who I was, being more authentic with myself and other people, because I was not trying to kind of filter things out. And I wasn't trying to put my faith on the back burner from kind of the public eye, which is what I had done, not because I was ashamed, but just because that is what I had been taught. That's what I've been taught about business. And so moving forward, as life would have it, we've been extraordinarily blessed in our business. Things have been good. We've been able to take amazing trips and have just a remarkable lifestyle because of the business that we have built. Well, as God does sometimes, right around toward the end of the summer in 2019, I felt it again. I felt this nudge, this kind of thing that was like deep in my gut and always in the back of my mind, and I couldn't get rid of it. And I felt God calling me again to something. I didn't know what it was, but I knew he was saying, it's time for you to do something again. Didn't know what it was. I was like, God, are you calling me out of this business that I've loved for 15 years? What are you calling me to do? Do you want me to stop the Sold Out Entrepreneur podcast? What is it? Well, in an effort to really, really get clarity and in an effort to really honor what I felt that he was trying to tell me so that I wouldn't miss it or mess it up, I decided just to make space in my life. I went on a 4-month hiatus from recording the Soul Out Entrepreneur, and I just kind of cleared things out of my life so that I could have more emotional and mental clarity. And I spent many months, beginning probably around September, October of 2019, just praying and asking God, okay, what is it? What are you asking of me? And this feeling, this idea began to be born inside of me. And I knew that it was going to have something, of course, to do with my faith and love in Jesus. I knew that. And I knew that it was going to be wrapped around working with, empowering, and loving on women. I knew that, but I didn't know in what area. I just wasn't sure exactly. So I kept quiet and I kept praying and I kept asking God to either open or close doors and to kind of show me. Well, at the end of 2019, literally December 31st, I felt this energy. I felt this thing inside of my heart, and it was like, man, 2020 is going to be a really amazing year. And the word that God gave me, the words, do you do that? Do you get like a word from the Lord for every year? Well, I've been doing it for a number of years, and I wasn't even trying to get one for 2020 because I was so just focused on trying to figure out what it was that God was calling me to do. But he gave me one anyway. He gave me 2. It was perfect clarity. And I knew that as soon as that clock ticked midnight at December 31st, 2019, that things were going to be different. I didn't know exactly how or what, but I knew it. I knew it in my gut. And as we entered into 2020, I had this incredible energy, excitement, and just feeling like God was going to be making very big shifts in my life. And I felt like he was about to do some very big things in the church at large, the body of believers at large. Didn't know what it was, but I definitely felt it. So I stepped into a couple of arenas, got really involved in the women's ministry at my church, and was kind of just feeling out this idea that God was giving to me. Maybe was it an event he wanted me to put on? Was it this? Was it that? And every time I felt like I was being moved into a direction, I would take a step, a tiny step. And sometimes that tiny step just meant that I was telling somebody about it. That's a step. And I would just wait and pray. Take a step, wait and pray. And all the while, this kind of idea was birthing in me. And you should know that my husband is my best friend. He's been my business partner, my mentor. He's everything. And so every idea I have, I bounce them off of him, right? And so I started to share some of these ideas with him that I had for this space for women, this platform where we could have ongoing resources and education, learning from other women that had been in the places that we were at. And that kind of the backdrop of this community would be faith. He says, "Oh, I love the idea, but maybe just like we're always taught, maybe you just keep that kind of in the background, the faith part." And I said, yeah, because we want to attract everybody to this. And I had no peace. I had no peace about it. And I just was like, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do this. It's just not clicked in yet. It felt like it was maybe the idea that God was giving me, but it just didn't feel clicked in. And so I kept praying about it and just asking and praying, reading the word, listening to things, reading books, trying as hard as I could to make sure that I wasn't missing what it was that God was asking of me. And then I kept getting these messages, whether it was a video that was coming across on Facebook or somebody I was listening to or somebody I was introduced to, where it kept putting this thought in my mind. Why are we not putting our faith and our business together in a really big way? And, but then the little other guy on my other shoulder says, because you don't do that in business. Is that what you do? And so finally I just said out loud, and I think it was to Bobby, I think that faith is supposed to not be like a back veil to this idea, but it's supposed to be at the forefront. I think I'm supposed to highlight business and faith together in a really bold way for women. And the moment I said it out loud, my body was covered in chills. And I knew that God was asking me to do something that felt very scary to me, to really put my faith and combining that with the day-to-days, the everyday of being an entrepreneur, of being a woman in business, of being a woman out there, and to share that with other women and to empower them to do the same thing. And so as soon as I said that out loud and I acknowledged and accepted that that's what God wanted to do, this is like in early January of 2020, then it was like he turned on a spigot inside of my soul and the ideas just began to flow and flow. So I'm writing them down in several notebooks. I'm taking notes on my phone. I'm writing in my journal at night when I go to bed, and just every idea that I had, every little thing. And this idea begins to grow into bigger and bigger, and really just quite a broad, sweeping vision that God was giving me. And so every few days I'd say, "Bobby, what about this?" And I'm telling him all these ideas and things that I want to do. And so the foundation was being born. And so then I decided that if I wanted to move forward, if I wanted to engage other people in the idea, if I wanted to begin to take all these kind of unformed idea bubbles and put them into something tangible, that I had to come up with a name. And so I really started praying about the name and just coming up with different things and seeing, what URLs are available, what things are already taken, because I want it to be, of course, a divine name, number one. But number two, let's be real. We want it to be a good name. We want it to be catchy and wanted it to mean something to me. And I have this little plaque in my office, and it just leans up against the shelf and it just says Girl Power on it. And Bobby walked into my office one day. He's like, "Why don't you just call it Girl Power?" And it was literally like a divine moment. I don't even think he knows. And I loved it because it sounded so innocent, right? Like it sounded youthful, but it also sounded very powerful. And it's something that all women of all ages could stand behind, And then but I also thought about, I wanted to create this community. And so the name Girl Power Alliance was born. The word alliance to me sounds very like superhero-ish, if that's a word. And so I began to create this word picture in my own mind of this community of women of all ages standing together in their power, girl power, because God gave us that. If you just read Proverbs 31 in the Bible, you know that He has created us as women to do remarkable things, a number of them, and to do them simultaneously. And I will be completely transparent with you. There were a number of years in my life where I read Proverbs 21 in the Bible and I was angry. I was mad at God. I was like, God, why are you like making us do so many things? Look at all the things that this woman does. She does everything. How can we do all of that? But then one day, as if like blinders were taken off of my eyes, He opened my eyes to the power of those words in Proverbs 31, the Proverbs 31 woman. And He showed me that He's not making us do that He created us with the ability to do all of that we can do that. That is the essence of what girl power is. And to be aligned with many other women that stand in that power and stand locked arms in their love for Jesus Christ. Now that's something that I could get behind, and it felt powerful and it felt right. And so that's where the name Girl Power Alliance came from. So you'll hear us referencing Girl Power Alliance many times, both on the website and our live events on our podcast as GPA, Girl Power Alliance. And so the name was born, and I began to take little steps. I bought the domains and different things, and I reached out through divine appointments to who would be my creative technical director or director of creative technology. And her name is Kristen, and you'll meet her on the podcast and you'll see her live. She's just a remarkable, young, gifted woman who loves Jesus. And we began the build. I shared the vision with her, and she began building it. I say she's building it. I'm working alongside of her amazing talents and skills. And so we began to really take the steps to begin building the platform for what would be Girl Power Alliance. And in a casual conversation one day with my husband, I was telling him all these things. Oh, and we're going to do this, and I want to do this, and we're going to have this, and it's going to be this. And he goes, you really need a team. I mean, this is a lot of work. It's more work than one person can do. And I knew that. I knew that it was more work this is more than I could ever accomplish. And I also knew God had told me at the beginning that I was going to have a team of women. If I'm being really transparent with you, that is a scary thing for me. I have been wounded by women many times in business, in relationships. And so it's a little hard for me to reach out and look for or seek out or just open the door to invite somebody into my vision, something that I was holding really, really sacred, and something that I felt was a vision that God had given me. But I knew that God had actually told me at the beginning, as He was downloading ideas and things to me, that it was going to take a team. And so when Bobby said this to me that day, I immediately knew who I was supposed to reach out to be my co-founder. And so I made a phone call to a young woman who turns out we literally have been connected for many years. Even though we didn't have a relationship, I know her mom, we've run in so many circles of people that were the same, but we had not developed a relationship over the years until recently. And that is Miss Tiffany Marie. And so she's just a beautiful woman. And I said, listen, I know that we haven't known each other very long, but I want to share a vision with you of something that I'm doing. And I kind of had this deal with God. I was like, okay, God, I'm going to share it with her. And based on how she responds, I'll know. And she'll know. We'll know if she's the one. If I'm just insane, maybe I'm nuts. And she's going to be like, okay, I'll think about it. But that is not what happened at all. She told me that this was what she had been praying for. And it was just the most remarkable, just supernatural conversation. And so the team was born. Me, Kristen, who's just a gift from God, again, another divine appointment, and Tiffany. And we began moving forward with building this beautiful platform. And I want to share with you what our tagline is: Girl Power Alliance, where women grow. And I believe that women are going to grow spiritually. They're going to grow in their relationship with the Lord. They're going to grow in their skills and their abilities to grow their business. And they are going to grow in relationships with each other. We are creating a community of like-minded, kingdom-minded women. Now, this is not only for you if you're an entrepreneur. Yes, this is for you. We have some of the most remarkably successful women in a variety of businesses who are contributing to the podcast, who are contributing courses, who are going to be adding so much value to you. But this is for you if you are leading in your home. Are you a stay-at-home mom and you just want to connect with other women that believe the way that you believe, and you want to be the very best mom and wife that you can be? This community is for you too. This is a community for women that love Jesus and that want to grow in any way, shape, or form. And so the podcast is the first phase of the launch. And I'm so excited about it because some of the interviews that we have been doing, I am just blown away. I am blown away. I'm learning so much. My faith is growing like crazy. And I know for sure that my skills are growing like crazy because of these incredibly talented women that you are going to meet on the podcast every week. We're going to release a new one every week. Before I get to the rest of the platform, I want to talk about one other component to this. As God was downloading the ideas to me for what will become the platform and the community of Girl Power Alliance, He also told me that he wanted me to line up with a friend of mine who she just started what is called the Salvation Foundation. And this is, she is extraordinarily passionate about helping to remedy the incredibly disastrous sex trafficking world. And she created this incredible foundation. You're going to meet her on a podcast here really soon. She's going to be one of the first podcasts. She lives in my town. She is my friend. She is absolutely stunning to look at. And her heart is even more beautiful than her outer beauty. And her mission is one that I am so aligned with. I'm so on board with her mission. And so Girl Power Alliance has chosen the Salvation Foundation to partner up with. And we're going to do a number of things to support her organization. When we open up our store, we're going to have some of her jewelry and the clothing that she is going to be designing that is going to go, all the profits, 100% to the foundation. We will also do some fundraising through our live events and stuff like that. So I'm really, really proud to be partnered with her. She just has a heart to serve. She loves Jesus, and she is making an impact in the world in really big ways. And that, I think, is another common theme. Yes, everybody that is aligned, everybody that you hear on a podcast, everybody that you see featured in one of our blogs that will be happening, everybody that you take one of our courses from, they are all aligned. They have all agreed to be aligned with the Girl Power Alliance beliefs, the foundational truths, and the values that we have. And so you can feel super confident in knowing that if we put our stamp on somebody, that we have had conversations with them and we know that their heart is lined up in the way that this entire community is, that we love Jesus, and that we all want to make an impact, and we all know that we have to make an income. And here's the thing. Your ministry does not have to be behind the doors of a church. Your ministry can be your business. Your ministry can be when you're at home with your family. Your ministry is who you are. And so all of these women, they desire to create impact and income at the same time. And their hearts are to serve, and their hearts are to love, and their hearts are to point people to Jesus. And so we will be launching the Girl Power Alliance platform in June. and in June of 2020. And that platform is going to include a number of things. I can't tell you all of them because this podcast would go on forever. But I will tell you that we are committed to being one of the, if not the most comprehensive resource for kingdom-minded, faith-based women, entrepreneurs, business owners, women in corporate America, moms, stay-at-home moms, wives. We are going to be a very, very comprehensive platform offering very valuable courses on a number of subjects, a number of skill sets that you'll be learning, everything from faith to business to marketing to nutrition and emotional health and spiritual well-being and finances, legal. I mean, you name it, we are going to have a very valuable, high quality course available to you just because you are a member. And in addition to that, we're going to have a directory of coaches. And these are coaches from a number of different professions and industries that really have a heart to help take people to the next level, their next level. And remember, we have already done the vetting out for you. It is very, very hard to line yourself up with a coach and to have their strategies work for you if you guys are not lined up in your faith. The conversations are different. The bottom line is we as kingdom-minded entrepreneurs, as kingdom-minded women, we make decisions sometimes that the world would say, why are you doing that? But because of our faith in Christ, we know what we're supposed to do. And that can sometimes fly right in the face of traditional business and traditional ideas of how to handle situations. But we know what's right. So when you are seeking out a coach to help take you to the next level, if they don't share that, you could often be guided down the wrong path. So I think it is of the utmost importance that when you are choosing a coach to help take you to the next level, whether it's emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, that coach also shares your same beliefs. So we're going to have an awesome directory of some of the most remarkable coaches in the profession around the globe. My vision is to have coaches around the globe available to you. You have a directory, you can find them there. In addition to that, in addition to these incredible courses that we're going to offer new ones month after month after month, you will have access to our private community that's going to be on Facebook. And within that private community, we're going to do a number of things. First of all, you can, of course, meet each other and collaborate with other women, but we're going to do live prayer calls. We're going to do power hours. We're going to do coaching calls. We're going to have a lot of things within this community that you can access as a member to just get encouragement and support and just be bathed in this alignment of hearts and ideas. And I believe that supernatural synergy is going to happen. We're going to have a social media vault available to you that will change quarterly. You can just have access to all of these great beautiful social media images that you can steal and use for your own purposes. We'll have a member directory and a number of other things. Coming soon will be the affiliate program and our ambassador program. I'm not even going to talk about the ambassador program, but I think I'm just as excited about that as I am about everything else equally. And of course, we'll do live events. We're going to do some live events specific for the ambassadors and then specific for just the whole community. And it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I want to share with you our mission statement. Our mission statement is that we want to impact the world by empowering women to dream bigger through kingdom-minded mentorship and leadership. Our purpose, encouraging women with a powerful community of support and equipping them to achieve higher levels of success and impact while growing their faith through high-quality resources. And our belief is that the world needs more faith-filled women to share their message, their vision, and create more financial success. The more we impact these women, the more they will impact the world, furthering the cause of Christ and being the hands and feet. We believe when women rise, the world rises with them. That's what we're all about. I cannot wait for what's coming. And if you're listening to this, you are part of this. We need you. You need us and we need you. Please, I'm going to ask a couple of things of you if you're listening to this. Please go find us on Instagram, Girl Power Alliance, and like us and share us with your friends. We want to get the message out to as many women as possible. Next, you can go to our YouTube channel and subscribe so that you can actually watch the videos of these podcasts. This will be the only one that doesn't have a video attached to it. And it's just because I literally forgot to videotape while I was recording the podcast. And make sure, if you have not already done this, go to girlpoweralliance.com and you can do two things. Number one, get on the wait list. Get on the wait list so you can get updates and information. Or number two, actually get signed up. We are taking pre-enrollments right now, and you can become a founding member of Girl Power Alliance, and you can lock in your membership price for life. So no matter what we do with the price in years to come, your price will always be locked in. And I just want you to know that I was really, really cognizant and careful about the price. I wanted it to be so affordable that anybody, no matter where they were at, could afford to be part of this amazing community. And I think you'll be excited to see that, especially when you see the incredible amounts of value that's going to be added to you for these basically less than the price of your monthly coffee habit, even at the elite membership, which is the highest membership. So go get that done. Go in there, be part of our community. And do you have a story you want to share with us? Does this just resonate with you and sound like you? Are you a coach and you want to be, featured as one of our featured coaches with the Girl Power Alliance? When you go to girlpoweralliance.com, you can click the button there to collaborate with us or be one of our featured coaches. The world needs your story. You have a voice that matters, and we want to absolutely help to amplify that voice. I just want to say thank you for listening. I want to say thank you for helping us to get the word out. And I want to invite you to be a part of this movement. Girl Power Alliance, where women grow. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.